Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Potting with Shalon. I am Shalon and today we are in Blue Range, Diego Martin at the house of the President of the Bonsai Society of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, Ole, I have a lot in store for you. We're going to have an opportunity to talk to a bit with the President if he wants to be on camera. I put in all the disclaimer one time. And we also have Errol here and another expert in the Bonsai Society. Apart from that, we're going to look at some of the trees that the President has in his household, in his yard, and it is absolutely positively out of this world gorgeous. It's nice too bad. So first things first, what we're gonna do, we're gonna repot a bonsai, so we're gonna look at that, and then we're gonna have a little tour, and then we're gonna have some conversation. So, as we just say, let me just go. So guys, today what is happening is that we are going to be repotting this variegated ficus. As you could see, I'm drawing back so that you could see the magnitude of this ficus. Now you're seeing my good pal Errol on the side here. And here is the other bonsai expert who say he's not an expert, apprentice, named Alan. He say he's an apprentice. So we go allow him with that. So today, as I just said, we're going to repot this variegated ficus. As you could see,
6 inches at least.
So, as you can hear, the trunk is about 6 inches at the base.
At least.
Nah, that could be a bit wider.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that's about 8.
Yeah.
If you're counting all that, that's about 8.
It has grown into the ground a little bit, sent out some roots into the ground. So we have some roots to cut at the bottom before we attempt to actually move the pot.
All right.
And then of course, take the plant out of the pot.
All right.
It's retaining water because the
drainage holes clogged.
So that's a problem for it's an environment for root rot. So you
right.
need to have that. It could be basically surviving more so off of the roots that has gone down into the ground. So the plant is not looking like it's declining, but for it to be maintained in the pot, we definitely need to clear the roots that clogging the water from seeping out.
Right.
As the main operation.
So guys, you understand what is happening today. The plant basically has outgrown the pot, and as a result, the roots have gone through the drainage holes into the ground, clogging the drainage holes, and it is retaining, the pot in itself is retaining too much water, which could result in root rot eventually. Right now, it doesn't look as though it's affecting the plant, but before you know it, in the blink of an eye, plops, your plant declining. And it's because this was a problem that should have been addressed some time ago. So, the fellas them going and get it.
So the first thing is to remove the roots, cut the roots that are going down into the ground. So I will hold the plant while Errol cuts.
So as you can see guys, we moved the plant from where it was, the tree from where it was, and we brought it a bit in the cooler, blowing. You hear my little out of breath because lifting this, wow. So we're going to start the work with regards to repotting. So
just to free up.
I'm going to let Alan talk about what he's about to do.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to do to remove the plant is to free up around the edges, make sure there's no roots attached to the inside of the pot so that it does not stick inside. And once we do that, we're going to gradually start to rock it.
Right.
And because we don't want to damage any roots.
Right.
Because we would have cut out some roots. Keep in mind, some roots was cut recently by the owner of the plant. So we didn't remove all the roots that were going on into the ground at one point in time.
All right.
Because you don't want the plant to go into shock. Even though Ficus is a very vigorous species, you want to be careful with that all the time.
All right.
Right.
Also, when you're repotting the plant, it's important that you do some pruning of the leaves on top, because the root system is a reflection of what's on. When you can be repotting a plant, you must prune it. Otherwise, there's a good chance it will go.
It's too much. It's too much stress on the. It's too much stress on the.
You want to do some defoliation, partial defoliation.
All right.
In the leaf.
So for those of you unsure about how to go about repotting and some of the steps that you have to take, as you could hear some of the takeaways. So right now,
You can see how moist the soil was, right?
yeah,
And it was in the sun, so that tells you how much water it was retaining.
It was retaining.
unnecessarily. And this is a very porous mixture here.
yeah, it is.
Right? So ideally it should not be retaining water. So you know for sure the drainage was an issue.
So guys, as you can see, the plant is totally out of the pot now. Now, as they said before, it was retaining a lot of water because the drainage holes were absolutely positively clogged by the roots. So when we leaned it one side, a lot of water was running out. This is why the soil is so waterlogged. So Errol is in the process of removing the excess soil from the roots so that he could take a look at the root ball and make whatever corrections that needs to be made. So a correct in saying that you're removing the soil, not all of the soil, but some of the soil from the root ball to make corrections, right?
Well, the root is set, but what we're doing is that we're going to put some fresh soil.
Right.
And we want to create air again, some air going through the soil.
All right. But would you have to remove, because some of the roots going down, would you have to then remove some of the roots from the base of the tree?
Yeah.
We may cut any thick roots at the bottom, tap roots, we may cut them back up.
Okay, you know, Ficus notorious for having potato
Because
like
they want to
roots.
grow big. Remember, Ficus wants to grow in a big tree.
Yeah.
So they will always try to send our tap roots down to stabilize to continue going up. See, it has a fairly good root ball, a lot of nice fibrous roots. We just have the two bigger tap roots to remove.
Right.
But if you notice how loose the soil is as well, right? Which is evidence of a good soil mixture.
Errol, how it is you getting soil to taste?
It don't have a good
No, it don't have a good
If you
smell.
smell the
It
water-
don't have a good smell.
That's because, so that is for sure.
All of the
Root rot.
water,
Yeah, too much water.
I bring this here, you'll show me what you're doing here,
Yeah.
and then you'll finish. So,
Let us cut back the taproot a little bit before we lose it.
you know about roots to take over there?
It has two big.
Just a little piece of
two
taproot
big
there.
fat
Big
roots
fat
and
roots,
it
you can
Yes.
cut them off here.
Bring the cutter there.
come across here.
Once there's
So
not
coming
much,
into
yeah.
for you guys to see what they're talking about. Removing those tap roots.
Yeah, cut one.
What you could do is put it back there when you pot in the rather you put it, you have to lift it.
Yeah, lapper.
Nothing right now.
Errol and Alan, I'll let her walk around and see if they need any plants for the display on the weekend, on the display on the weekend.
Yeah, we need.
If they need anything.
Yeah, that's our job.
Well, that's how it goes. They give her a job, a hard work. Yeah. Come and walk around and choose.
Like part of it. I think you need to take that one off.
Nothing really happened. Trying to go along right now.
So what we have served at airport.
You can use back some of this one. You don't use it.
I will sift that soil to get out the stones.
Okay.
But I'll mix
Okay, understood. Yeah, okay.
new stuff in. So I'll just let it dry out, sift it, and I don't throw away the stones.
No problem. Right, this thing. That one big one here.
No, but that close to the top, you know. That close to the surface. So we don't need to.
All that good.
We don't need to remove
cut
that.
out,
Leave that, leave
Only
that.
can
Yeah,
remove.
next time we cut out and you see how we set a fiber sheets come out. So I'll get plenty area so it will get room to grow. You could cut back a little bit of the roots. Right, not too much. You could get this there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're removing some of the roots.
Right.
Right, create more room in the pot. Not too much, but so a slight trimming of the roots, root pruning.
That's good, that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
You know Mr. Cutter like to
When
cut.
you tell him that good, you tell him I'll only cut about 10 times like that. Alright, show him what you're doing with the pot, about the blocking of the holes and the drainage, which is very important. Super important. Somebody might have to balance that.
Errol, you want to hold any pot or you explain?
I go on and show him what you're doing with the pot. You're putting mesh at the bottom.
Alright, so this is the, we're using the pot that it originally came out of.
Alright, so basically to prevent the problem that we had initially, we're going to use these mesh to block the holes. So it's porous, completely porous, but it will prevent roots from going down easily. Now with ficus, because the roots are so, the tree itself is a very vigorous tree and the roots, you know, tend to want to make the plant into a bigger plant. It's quite possible it may try to push through these vents.
Right.
However, this will definitely slow down the process, you know, as much as possible. So we're going to place them over there and then we're going to use this wire to lock it in place. So now as a first layer over again to ensure that we have proper drainage, because we want always proper drainage with regards to bonsai.
Right.
We're going to use some larger stone, which is not a part of the general soil mixture.
Okay.
Right? And this is going to be the base here.
So these are the roots that were coming out of the drainage and went down into the ground. And what I'm understanding now is that something I didn't know. From this that was pulled out of the ground,
Definitely get a new tree.
you could plant this and get a new tree.
Root cutting, perfect.
So
We're gonna try
I'm
it.
inclined to try something. You know we mantra, try something.
Try something.
Right. So this looks like, and this
The
already
high
has a
level
nice twist to it,
And it's aged.
and it's good and well aged.
This is the front.
So what are gonna do? So Alan already started to look at what is the possible front.
Even though
Apart-
it's a round pot, this is the front here.
Right.
It's the widest root base.
Right.
Root spread.
So as this being the widest root spread, this would be classified as the front and the best looking
Position of the
viewer side.
So Errol is going to start putting some fresh soil. Because you need a base of soil. You kind of have it like a mound. And when we put the plant, we will rock it into place
Right.
to the level that we want and the position that we want it in.
So for the sake of the viewers, the soil mixed here, can I assume that this is potting soil with
Some sharp sand.
some sharp
Sharps.
sand?
This is
Looking like some
You want-
perlite,
One
perlite.
one
One
inch
inch
stone,
gravel.
Right.
Pro Mix.
And it seems to have some
And
peat
some
soil,
topsoil.
topsoil and so.
I use a little bit of compost as well.
And some compost.
And some
So there's
compost.
an organic component.
But just about 1/10 compost.
Yeah.
I sift the compost before the seed.
Which is very fine. So there's an organic content here. So you ready
Yeah.
to go?
Yeah.
So now what is going to happen? What you're seeing is that they're going to start filling
Now
the pot
because of
with
the
the
weight
soil.
of the plant, we don't necessarily need to put wire to tie it in place.
Right.
Usually if it's a smaller plant, we would tie the root down.
Okay.
Until you, and that is so that you don't have the plant falling down in
Right,
the pot with the
right.
loose soil.
Right. Well, this plant so big, you don't need chopsticks to get the
Well, we'll do
You
some
could
of
you
that.
could do some of the chopstick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember, we place a big mound, so
Yeah.
it's spread out. And what will happen when, as the soil goes in, fits its way into the root,
Right.
it will be topped up.
So what they're doing right now is positioning the plant to make sure that it sits at the right angle that they want it to sit at.
You could always roll the pot to straighten it, but make sure, however you're looking at it from wherever. Now, there was a time when I could do this, manage this on my own with a little bit of help, but that was many years ago.
That's when he was young.
That's when I was in my 60s.
That's why I have friends.
Bonsai is a community.
It is very much so.
So that's another secret there.
Right.
You could put some fertilizer into your soil mix.
Only a slow release like osmocote.
Slow release. Because it's a very big plant, and you could see it's a small pot in comparison to the size of the
In
plant.
comparison, yeah.
While the pot is big, it's still small.
That is what the riser stand goes up, so that's not a problem.
I think somebody trying to say hi.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hello. 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 Hungry at a time, you don't have to do it. I have a special kind of food. I just think of just that thing again.
Right, so after this successful repotting, we're going to give it a good soaking. A good, complete soaking. What is the possibility of the plant exhibiting some signs of trauma because of this repot?
It is possible, but again, preparation for the repot was important, which was done. So most of the roots that was going into the ground was cut long before this repot.
Right.
So the plant is already used to not having the support and the nutritional support from the roots that were going into the ground. And we did not do a heavy root pruning from the pot. Right? So, and then also the plant was also pruned back and slightly, heavily pruned back and slightly defoliated.
Right.
So just what the roots has to support is much smaller than it's used to. So that preparation is key to prevent any major fallout from repotting. And again, the species lends itself to take a lot
Which is also very key.
Very important. Some
Very, very
plants
important.
cannot-
You need to know.
Yeah.
So, guys, some key takeaways from this. When repotting a plant, you need to prepare. You don't just go and repot your plant just like that. You need to prepare whatever preparations that may be. If it root bound, if the roots would have gone into the ground, you start gradually removing it. You have to defoliate some of it, do some defoliation, because what is going on is that with repotting, you may have to remove some of the roots, and you don't want that the top of the tree overstressing the little bit of roots or whatever roots it have left after you do some root removal. Right? So preparation is key. Knowing your species, you must know what species you're working with to know how to treat with it, so that you don't apply the same technique to each and every single tree, because it didn't go work. You go kill a few well. Right? So don't do that. Do a little research. Right? And as you can see, and we have my friend talking up our talk. Errol laughing. This ficus has been sorted after quite nicely. As you can see, the pad separation, the varying pads, the lower pads, some of them wired to give you those clear lines. You could see the wiring. You could see where some pruning was done. It's looking like it's raining, but that's just Errol. Right, so some pruning was done, and overall that's the end of that. This is done. So on to the next step.